I guess start with the net ratings came out today. I know you said you follow some of the metrics closely. Any thoughts on Utah State coming out?
Yeah, I think we should be a little higher if we'd played a little better on Saturday. But yeah, I like where we're at as far as the metrics. There's obviously a lot of room for improvement. I think that's the exciting part. But this will be a good test for us. I think anytime you go on the road in college athletics, you've got to be united. You've got to play great defense. You got to take care of the ball. So these two opportunities, I think, are really, really big for us.
You mentioned playing defense and take care of the ball. Those are probably the two toughest challenges against South Florida. They turn teams over and they score a lot of points. Pace being a factor in that, but it seems like those are the two things you got to work on most against South Florida.
Yeah, I think first of all, Coach Hodgson does a great job. The guy's a winner. He's climbed his way up the coaching ladder. Worked for, one of my favorite coaches in college basketball, Nate Oates. We've stole a lot of stuff from them guys over the years. So he was an assistant in Alabama. Goes to Arkansas State. Has two of the best years in school history, and rightfully so is at South Florida. So they've got a lot of firepower. They play extremely fast. They want to score in the first 10 seconds. They do a wonderful job. They got a good identity, and they've played a big-time schedule. They've played everybody in the country.
Just kind of speaking of their schedule, about it, Oklahoma State and VCU, just what have you seen from them against those kind of better programs?
Yeah, I mean, just a few possessions away in some of those games. Certainly in the Oklahoma State game. They're a team that can be very disruptive, right? As Jason said, they can get you to do things that you don't want to do, so you got to value the ball. You got to get into your offense. You got to be strong with the ball. Spacing is going to be critical in this game. They're going to play a lot of different coverages on the ball screen, do a ton of different things. So it's a team that you got to, really dissect, and it's hard to prepare for because they throw a lot of things at you.
Looks like they're mainly the guards, 4 guards that are scoring quite a bit.
Yeah, he likes 4-guard lineups, 2 very, very athletic bigs. They block shots, something that right now we like to get our shots blocked. We're, I think, now 305 in the country and getting our shots blocked. So we got to do a better job around the rim, right? Playing off 2 feet, using our pivots, but we're getting our shot blocked way too much.
Mentioned one of those bigs, I think Isaiah Nelson, if I'm saying his name right, where he's like 12 points, 9 rebounds. Mentioned the blocks, he's got 1.8 of those per game. Just, I don't know if you've faced a big as good as him all year, at least as far as his numerical.
He's very active, wiry, great athlete, great rim protector. If you go in there and don't play off 2 feet, he's going to block your shot. He's good in pick and roll coverage. He's aggressive, long arms. So they've got a lot of athletes, and they're going to play a lot of guys. They just played 3 games in 3 days, so he played a lot of different lineups.
With the common opponent, they played VCU, obviously you did as well. Does that kind of give you any kind of starting point in terms of just a scouting standpoint, or is it just?
Maybe a little bit. I haven't really thought about it. That's a good question. I think nowadays it's a mindset with college basketball teams, right? It's what type of prep did you have, leading up to the game? But we know VCU really well, obviously playing them, so we can watch that game and understand, them in a whole. But I just think nowadays it's more of a mindset. You get a good mindset with good preparation, and I thought leading up to Montana State, we didn't have great prep, and that was the struggle part of it. And I just hope we come in today and tomorrow, and then we'll leave tomorrow. We'll get to Florida tomorrow night, chartering this trip, which is awesome. And then another real good day of prep on Wednesday and then play. So, this thing's going to come at us pretty fast. So the next 3 days will be really, really important.
You were able to make that last trip east effective, but you were in one spot. How's it different now? You go to Florida, you play, then you have...
Yeah, we'll be bouncing around, that's for sure. We'll spend the night after the game and then go Friday to Charlotte. 2 great cities. I think, Tampa's one of the, fastest growing cities in the country. Weather's going to be nice, so that'll be nice. And, like I said, I got a lot of respect for Coach Hodgson. I think he's an excellent coach. They have you win with identities, and his identity has gotten, really tough kids, play really hard. They're a team. They have an edge. They rebound. They play fast. And it's going to be a good environment, right? South Florida, you look at what they've done in football and basketball recently here. It's pretty impressive.
Mason talked about how one of the things he's been working on was getting set in the first 10 seconds on defense, and you brought it up before with South Florida, where their average possession length is about 14 seconds. Just how crucial does that become working on that?
Yeah, I mean, you got to run good offense. That's the biggest key. Like, you got to get good shots. You got to get offensive rebounds. You take bad shots, live ball turnovers, get your shot blocked, they're going to run. So I think part of it is our offense, right? We got to get into offense, and then, when we do get our defense set, it's been pretty good. So we can't have blow bys, and we got to guard the ball a little bit better. I didn't think we guarded the ball great against Montana State. I thought they got downhill way too much. Our positioning was bad. So those are things we got to clean up.
And then just one last question: just how do you feel like your players have responded? You're kind of hard on them after the last game. How do you feel like they've responded, at least initially?
Well, I haven't seen them yet, so we'll go to practice today. No, we have a team. Like, we're a team. We've got good kids, good people in our organization. We've got guys that have averaged 27 wins the last 2 years. We got guys that get it. They understand it. And it's really their team, right? We'll kind of lay out the blueprint the next 2 to 3 days. But I fully anticipate our guys will learn from that experience from Montana State and play better, right? If you practice better, you prepare better, you'll probably play better in the games. So I think, I learned something as a coach. Probably don't schedule a game on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, right? Like, I just don't think that's a good recipe for us. So we'll look at that next year as well and think about scheduling early, this week or middle of this week. But you learn something every year, right? And I think we learned a lot about our team. They made some timely free throws, and we found a way to win when we didn't play our best.
Come along with that, how much going into practice today is addressing the issues from Saturday versus, that's out the window, that's behind us?
Yeah, that's a good question. No, it can never be behind you. I think you got to learn from those things. Sometimes you look at your opponents too much, right? Sometimes you're so consumed with the next scout, the next team, that you really forget about your team. And I think that's something over the years that we've never done. We kind of self-assess, and that's why I like numbers, because I don't think numbers lie. The numbers are what they are, and those things kind of tell you where you need to get better and where you're good at. And so there's a lot of things on both sides of the ball, personnel-wise, we need to do better. And that'll be really today, right? And then we'll get into South Florida, this afternoon after practice. And then we'll have, really about 2.5 day prep to get ready for those guys.
It's kind of a follow-up thought. I mentioned you'll not schedule a game Saturday after Thanksgiving. What have been your thoughts on playing on or around holidays like Thanksgiving, Christmas?
Yeah, I think this one was tough because of the trip east. I don't know what we could have done, better as far as the prep. I thought we wore them down pretty good on Thursday and tried to educate them how good Montana State was. I did see some of the guys today. They said, Coach, that team was really good. That's why I told you that for 4 days. South Florida's really good too. Winning is hard, right? It's hard to get a win in college basketball. Every team presents challenges, and South Florida's going to be no different. They're going to be playing at home in front of a great crowd. So we got to lock in on these details of certain things, as Mark said, and get better. You got to keep getting better.